The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden glow over the sprawling fields of wildflowers and tall grass. The colors of the landscape glimmered in the evening light, with the wildflowers dancing gently in the soft breeze, creating a picture-perfect scene that felt like a page from a storybook. The air was thick with the sweet scent of lilacs and fresh earth, a fragrance that wrapped around Liam like a comforting blanket, welcoming him back home as he stepped out of his car. After a long, seemingly endless semester at college, he had returned to his family's farm for the summer, a place that held not only memories but also a deep love entangled with nostalgia. The familiar sights and sounds filled him with warmth, but they also tugged at his heartstrings, with an ache of bittersweet reminiscence. At 20 years old, Liam was no longer the carefree boy who had spent his childhood running wild through the fields, chasing the sunset on those warm summer nights. He was now a young man, with quiet ambition and a fierce passion for art, harboring dreams that stretched far beyond the horizon he could see. Yet, as he stood on the familiar gravel driveway dusted with rust and memories, he felt a wave of memories wash over him, laughter bubbling up like a fresh spring, warmth wrapping around him, and the unbreakable bond of family that ensnared his heart. "Liam!" A voice called out, piercing the reverie that had enveloped him like a thick fog. He turned to see Aunt Becky walking toward him, her long hair dancing in the gentle breeze, catching the sunlight and glistening like spun gold. She wore a simple summer dress that accentuated her figure in a way that spoke of effortless grace. Her smile radiated warmth, instantly brightening the space around her. At 32, Becky was a vibrant woman, embodying a spirit that seemed to light up every room she entered. To Liam, she had always been more than just an aunt. She was a confidant, a friend, and a source of inspiration who had encouraged his artistic pursuits and nurtured his dreams. "Becky!" Liam shouted, his face lighting up as he returned her joyful greeting. They embraced tightly, and he could smell the faint scent of lavender lingering on her skin, a smell that reminded him of summer afternoons spent in her presence. "How was your drive? Did you get lost?" she teased, pulling back to meet his eyes, which held the familiarity of home. "Not this time." "Just a few wrong turns," he laughed, feeling the familiar comfort of home envelop him like a warm embrace. As they walked together toward the house, the years of separation melted away, and Liam noticed the changes that had taken place over time. The old barn had been lovingly renovated, its weathered wood replaced, but retaining the soul of a place steeped in history. The garden, once a mere patch of dirt, had expanded into a vibrant tapestry of colors, with flowers blooming in a riot of hues. The porch, now adorned with hanging baskets of cascading blooms, offered a beautiful sight that was almost breathtaking. Yet, amid this beauty, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was different this summer, something lingering just beneath the surface, an emotion that sent ripples of uncertainty through him. The days passed quickly as Liam settled back into life on the farm, like an old glove he had rediscovered after years of neglect. He spent his mornings painting in the studio, capturing the beauty of the landscape and the essence of summer in strokes of vibrant color. Aunt Becky often joined him, bearing trays of cool lemonade and homemade snacks, and they would share stories, sweet memories, and laughter that echoed through the studio walls, filling it with life. One afternoon, as they sat on the porch, the sun dipped low in the sky and cast a warm glow over everything. The air was filled with the sound of cicadas, their song mingling with the fading light, and the world felt peaceful. "Do you remember when you painted that giant mural on the barn?" Becky asked, her eyes sparkling with mischief, lighting up at the thought. Liam chuckled, envisioning the ambitious project from years ago. "I think I painted more of myself than the barn. It was a disaster, but you were my biggest cheerleader, even when the colors ended up looking like a chaotic rainbow explosion." "I still have pictures of it," she said, laughter dancing in her voice. "You were so proud, even if it was a bit abstract," she teased, nudging him playfully with her elbow, her smile infectious. "Abstract?" "It was pure chaos," he laughed, the memory warming his heart, but as he looked into her eyes, he sensed a depth of the connection that was growing between them, something deeper than childhood memories or familial love. Their laughter faded into a comfortable silence, yet an electric tension hung in the air, thick with unspoken words. Liam glanced at Becky, and their eyes met, holding a gaze that lingered a bit too long. It was in that moment he felt the subtle shift, the spark that neither dared to acknowledge, but was palpable nonetheless. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange, pink, and violet, Liam decided to take a break from painting. He wandered into the house, intending to find Aunt Becky, perhaps to discuss his latest piece or share a casual moment. However, as he stepped into the familiar living room, he stumbled upon a scene that would change everything. He found her there, comfortably seated on the couch, a photo album opened in her lap. Her expression was one of deep contemplation, hidden sadness behind her welcoming smile. For a moment, he hesitated at the doorway, his heart aching for the vulnerability she rarely revealed. He could see her brow furrowed slightly as she traced her fingers over a photograph. "Becky," he called softly, stepping inside, breaking the silence that had cast a spell over the room. She looked up, startled, and quickly wiped a tear from her cheek, pressing her lips into a thin line in an attempt to conceal her emotions. "Oh. Liam, I didn't hear you come in," she replied, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern washing over him as he approached, taking a seat beside her, the distance between them shrinking as he sought to understand the turmoil behind her eyes. "It's nothing, really," she said, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. He peered into the album as he sat beside her, flipping through the pages filled with family memories. Pictures of birthdays, holidays, and candid moments captured the joy that had once filled their lives. "These are beautiful," he remarked, but as he flipped another page, something in the air shifted. The atmosphere grew thick with unexpressed emotions, and he felt an overwhelming longing to comfort her, to bridge the silent distance that had crept between them unnoticed. "Sometimes it's hard, you know," she said softly, her gaze fixed on a picture of her daughter, the joy of the past juxtaposed against the weight of the present. "Being a single mom and trying to keep everything together. I just want to make sure she has a good life." The sincerity in her words sent a pang of empathy through him. Liam understood the challenges that came with raising a child alone, the sacrifices, the exhaustion, the fear of falling short. "You're doing an amazing job, Becky." "She's lucky to have you," Liam assured her, placing his hand gently over hers, the warmth of the gesture lingering in the air. Their eyes locked in that moment, and time seemed to stand still. The world outside faded away, leaving only the two of them, bound by the weight of their unspoken feelings and the vulnerability laid bare between them. Becky's breath hitched, and for a heartbeat, Liam thought she might lean in, to close the distance that had formed between them. It felt as if the moment above them held the essence of possibilities. But fate intervened as she pulled away, breaking the spell they shared. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional," she said, her voice shaky, shame seeping into her expression as she turned her gaze toward the album, attempting to regain her composure. "It's okay," he replied, feeling a rush of vulnerability himself. "I'm here for you. You don't have to go through anything alone." As summer deepened, so did their connection, an invisible thread woven with each shared secret, stolen glance, and intimate moment. They began to spend more and more time together, exploring the sun-drenched fields, sharing dreams beneath the starlit sky, and creating memories that felt more intimate than ever before. One sultry evening, they found themselves lying on a blanket in the meadow, surrounded by the gentle hum of nature. The sky above was a canvas of twinkling stars, each one a witness to their unfolding story. The night was alive with sounds, the chirping crickets and the distant hoot of an owl enveloping them in a cocoon of serene normalcy. "Do you ever wonder what's out there?" Liam asked, gesturing to the vast expanse of the starry sky. "Beyond this town, beyond our lives? What else lies out there waiting for us?" "Sometimes," Becky replied, her voice soft and contemplative. "But I think there's something special about this place, too. It's home. It's where I found peace after chaos, where love is intertwined with every memory." "Sometimes," Becky replied, her voice soft and contemplative. "But I think there's something special about this place, too. It's home. It's where I found peace after chaos, where love is intertwined with every memory." "Home can be complicated," he mused, turning to face her, captivated by the earnestness in her expression. "Sometimes it feels like it holds you back," he added, his voice barely above a whisper. She met his gaze, their closeness forging an intimate cocoon that seemed to shield them from the world. "What if you want something more, but you're afraid to reach for it?" she asked, vulnerability lacing her words, a hint of her own desires peeking through the walls she had built. "Then you have to be brave," he responded, his heart racing at the honesty of their exchange. "You have to take the leap." The gravity of his words hung in the air, a challenge and inspiration wrapped into one. As they spoke, the tension between them crackled like electricity in the cool night air. Liam could feel it, the unacknowledged desire, the longing that had grown deeper with every shared moment. In a bold move, he reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. The warmth of her skin ignited something profound within him, and he leaned closer, their breaths mingling, the moment charged with anticipation. "Becky," he whispered, his heart pounding against his chest, a rush of emotions flooding through him. He could see the conflict in her eyes, a battle between desire and caution. But just as he was about to close the distance between them, she pulled back, her expression shifting from longing to fear. "Liam, we can't," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper, but the weight of the words felt heavy between them. "Why not?" he asked, frustration bubbling under the surface. "Why can't we just be honest about how we feel? What's stopping us?" "Because it's complicated," she replied, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I'm your aunt, and I have a daughter to think about. This isn't just about us. We have responsibilities, and we could hurt others." "Maybe it should be," he said, desperation creeping into his tone. "Maybe we deserve to explore this connection, this feeling that's been growing between us." Despite the tension that threatened to pull them apart, they found themselves drawn to each other more than ever. Their secret meetings became an escape from reality, an idyllic dream where they could be themselves, without fear of judgment or societal expectations. One afternoon, they met at the edge of the woods, a hidden sanctuary where the trees formed a natural barrier, ensuring their rendezvous went undisturbed. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting dappled shadows that danced on the ground, creating an atmosphere of magic. "Do you remember the treehouse we built?" Liam asked, a smile breaking the tension, memories bubbling to the surface like bubbles of laughter shared long ago. Becky laughed, her eyes sparkling with nostalgia. "I do. I can't believe we thought we could actually live up there. We were so convinced we could escape the world." "Hey, we had dreams, didn't we?" he replied, grinning at her, the connection they shared rekindled in the warmth of the past. As they reminisced, however, the laughter faded, and the air grew thick again, charged with unspoken words. Liam leaned against a sturdy tree trunk, admiration evident in his gaze as he watched her. "Becky, what if we just let go of everything holding us back?" he asked quietly, his heart racing at the thought of a future that was not just a distant desire but a possibility they could chase together. Her gaze fell to the ground, and he could see the internal struggle etched on her face. "It's not that simple, Liam. There are people who would be hurt, your parents, my daughter. We'd be shattering expectations." "I know," he said, stepping closer, closing the gap that felt charged with all their pent-up emotions. "But we can't ignore what's between us. It feels real." In that moment, the weight of their emotions hung in the air, palpable and intense. He reached out, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear in a tender, intimate gesture, and she shivered at his touch, her breath hitching slightly. "Please," he whispered, his heart racing as he stepped even closer, inviting her to bridge the gap, to reach for something more. Said, breaking the silence like glass shattering. "I can't pretend that nothing is happening between us, that these feelings mean nothing." "Liam, please," Becky responded, her voice laced with desperation as she looked around nervously, as if the walls themselves might eavesdrop on their conversation. "Not here. Not now. We can't risk being caught like this." "Why not?" he pressed, frustration bubbling over in his chest. "Why do we have to hide? I care about you, and I know you feel it too." His heart raced, emotions swirling within him like a tempest, fueled by the closeness they had shared and the anxious yearning that had been building up for weeks. "I do, but it's complicated," Becky exclaimed, her eyes pleading with him for understanding. I have a daughter to think about, and what if this all blows up in our faces? It could tear our family apart. Then we figure it out together, he insisted, his voice firm yet gentle. But we can't keep living like this, in the shadows, pretending we don't feel this connection. Just then, the kitchen door swung open, and Becky's sister walked in, catching them in what felt like an indefinitely heated moment. "What's going on here?" she asked, eyebrows raised, suspicion dancing in her gaze. Liam and Becky froze, panic washing over them like cold water. "Nothing, just talking," Becky stammered, her cheeks flushed and heart racing. "Right," her sister replied, her expression shifting to one of scrutiny. "You two seem awfully close. What are you hiding from me?" Liam's heart raced as he exchanged a quick glance with Becky. The fear of discovery tightened around them like a noose, making the air feel heavy and the shadows stretch longer. The confrontation left both Liam and Becky shaken. The tension that had once drawn them closer together now felt like a chasm, threatening to tear them apart and unravel everything they had built in stolen moments. Days turned into weeks, and as summer lingered, the golden heat began to fade into the cooler tones of autumn. Their secret meetings became fewer and further apart, replaced by awkward silences and stolen glances laden with suppressed emotions. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, painting the horizon in rich, vibrant colors, Liam found himself wandering back to their special spot in the woods. He sat beneath the tree where they had shared so many intimate moments, feeling the weight of heartbreak pressing down on him like a storm cloud low in the sky. "Liam?" A soft voice broke the silence, and he looked up to see Becky walking toward him, her expression imbued with warmth even beneath the ache of their recent distance. "Hey," he replied, his voice barely a whisper, the emotions of the past week spiraling through him. "I've missed you," she said, sitting beside him. There was an awkwardness in the way they sat together, as if the unspoken words stretched like a chasm between them. It was a familiarity that felt foreign, yet it was laced with a tenderness that lingered in the air. "I've missed us," he confessed, his heart aching as it truly struck him how profoundly their connection had been altered. "I'm so sorry for what happened," she said, tears glistening in her eyes, threatening to spill over. "I just don't know how to navigate this. My heart is torn in so many directions." "Neither do I," he admitted, his voice thick with emotion, the truth of his feelings spilling out. "But I know I care about you, more than I ever thought possible, and that doesn't just disappear." He searched her eyes, grappling with the weight of their conflicting dreams. Becky took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the horizon, as if seeking clarity in the fading light. "What if we just let go of the fear? What if we embraced what we have?" Hope flickered within her, matching the wishfulness in Liam's heart. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" His breath caught. Hope ignited within him, a flicker of light in what had felt like a darkened path. "I don't want to hide anymore," she replied, her voice now laced with determination. "I want to explore this, no matter the consequences. I want to choose what makes me feel alive." With newfound resolve, they began to navigate their relationship more openly. It wasn't without challenges, whispers and judgment from family members hung in the air like a cloud, but nothing could dim the light that had ignited between them. Yet, as they faced the world together, their bond deepened. They spent lazy afternoons painting together in the fields, sharing dreams and fears as colors mingled on canvas, their laughter woven into the brushing of the paint. One evening, as they stood on the porch watching the sunset morph from shades of orange to deep purple, they felt the warmth not just of the sun, but of the shared moments that had led them to this point. "I never thought we would get to this point," Liam said, his heart swelling with gratitude and admiration for the transformation their relationship had undergone. "Neither did I," Becky replied, her eyes shining with possibility, a glimmer of hope dancing within them. "But I'm so glad we did." She stepped closer, their hands brushing together as they leaned into each other, feeling the warmth of their connection envelop them like a cozy blanket. As the sky shifted into deeper shades of twilight, they found themselves holding each other, the weight of all their worries gradually dissipating under the magic of the moment. They shared stories, secrets, and dreams that felt like fragile whispers beneath the chorus of crickets and the distant rustle of leaves. "I think I've discovered a new color this summer," Liam said, breaking the comfortable silence. It's a deep, vibrant shade that feels like freedom. It's all thanks to you. He looked into her eyes, wanting her to understand the depth of his feelings. Becky chuckled softly, the sound warming the air. Well then, we should explore that color more, she said, a teasing smile on her lips. What do you say we paint a mural on the barn? Something that captures this moment, this feeling, so we can come back to it every summer. Liam's heart swelled at the thought. You mean it? A mural? Together? The idea sent a thrill coursing through him. It was a way to blend their artistic spirits and capture their journey in a way that would last much longer than mere memories. Absolutely. Becky replied, her enthusiasm radiating. It'll be our masterpiece. Plus, we can invite the family to help, it'll be a celebration of us. As they talked, the remnants of uncertainty began to fade, giving way to a shared vision that filled their hearts with excitement. They actively began to sketch ideas, images of their favorite moments, wildflowers dancing in the fields, and the night sky engulfing them in serenity. Each stroke of the brush became a release, and as they painted, they shared laughter and meaningful glances that reflected the feelings burgeoning beneath the surface. But the reality of their lives loomed ever closer. Just as they began to feel comfortable, the strains of outside expectations crept back in. They faced judgmental glances from relatives and whispers that reverberated around the family dinner table. The anxiety of being discovered lingered in the back of their minds as they worked amidst the fading light. Then one evening, as laughter echoed around the house and the family gathered for dinner, it happened. They were both seated across the table, a chasm separating them in front of the watchful eyes of relatives. Amid the casual chatter, Becky's sister, who had been observing them closely, leaned in with a raised eyebrow. You two seem different lately. Are you hiding something from us? She asked, her tone casual yet probing. Liam felt his heart drop, while Becky's expression turned to stone in an instant, anxiety washing over her features. Was the secret they had worked so hard to protect finally exposed? Of course not, Becky said quickly, a nervous laugh escaping her lips. Just busy with summer projects, you know how it is. But the weight of the untruth hung heavy in the air, pulsing with tension as they continued the evening's festivities, with laughter masking the unease. Afterward, as the sun dipped low beyond the horizon, Liam and Becky stood together on the porch, staring into the fading light. The world felt heavy with silence, yet the unspoken words felt like a tempest swirling within. I can't keep pretending, Liam said, his voice low and earnest. What we have feels so real to me. I don't want to hide anymore, not from them, and not from each other. I know, Becky replied, tears glistening in her eyes. But I'm scared of what it could mean, of the damage it might do. I don't want to hurt our family. We're supposed to be together for them, to support each other through everything. Then we'll figure it out together, he said, determination flaring within him. Love isn't supposed to feel like this, Becky. It shouldn't come with apologies or borrowed moments. It should be celebrated, shared, and embraced. She nodded slowly, their hands inching closer together. You're right, she conceded, her voice barely above a whisper. But if we choose this path, we have to be ready for the fallout. I'm ready, Liam affirmed. For whatever it takes. With you, I can face anything. Summer gradually surrendered to autumn, yet the vibrant bond they formed blossomed amidst the changing colors. The mural they began painting transformed not just the barn but their hearts, reflecting their journey through the kaleidoscope of passionate colors and emotions intertwined like vines. As the leaves turned golden and crisp, they painted late into the evenings, sharing laughter and warmth, confiding their fears and hopes as the universe seemed to conspire in favor of their love. Each stroke of the paintbrush was a cathartic release, an act of defiance against the constraints of their world, while each moment together deepened the roots of their connection. But as they worked on the mural, life continued to bring its challenges. With each meeting they had with family, the tension increased. They could feel the quiet scrutiny from their relatives, the weight of their secret bore down on them like a heavy fog. One day, while they were setting up for a family barbecue at the farm, Liam couldn't shake off an impending sense of dread. The air was thick with the aroma of fresh burgers sizzling on the grill, and laughter floated in the summer breeze, but he felt as if they were walking a tightrope. "Becky," he said softly, pulling her aside as everyone else mingled. "Do you think we can keep doing this? Hiding and pretending? It's getting harder." Becky sighed, leaning against the railing of the porch, her brow furrowed as she looked out at the gathering below. "I don't know. I want to be honest, but what if it tears this family apart?" Her voice cracked, revealing the weight of emotional conflict she was feeling. He nodded, trying to give her strength, knowing they were both wrestling with the same fear. "I think we have to at least consider it. We can't live in secrecy forever. It's not fair to us." Becky's expression softened at his words. "You're right. But how do we even begin to address this with them?" The anxiety in her voice was palpable. Moments later, just as they were about to head back inside, Becky's sister casually walked past them and caught a glimpse of their intimate exchange. An insightful gaze aimed at them, her brow raised once more in suspicion. "Are you guys okay? You're being awfully serious over here," she said, a teasing tone layered under trepidation. The words hung in the air like a bell tolling at dusk, and in that moment, the illusion of a carefree gathering shattered. Becky's cheeks flushed as she struggled to articulate her words, but Liam stepped in, feeling a surge of protective instinct. "We're just talking about some summer projects," he responded, attempting to reinstate normalcy. "You know how it is, with art and everything." Her sister narrowed her eyes, but before she could question further, their mother called everyone to the table, and the tension dispersed, momentarily. As the day wore on and the sun dipped low, the atmosphere shifted. Dinner was filled with small talk, laughter, and the clinking of cutlery, but the air felt charged with unacknowledged feelings, and both Liam and Becky found it increasingly difficult to focus on anything but them. Later, as everyone gathered around the fire pit with marshmallows on sticks, Becky leaned closer to Liam, her voice low and urgent. "We have to talk. Tonight, I can't take this anymore. The secret is suffocating me." Beneath the glow of the firelight, they exchanged a nervous glance. "Okay, let's do it," he encouraged, though his heart pounded, reminding him of the risks inherent in their decision. As they all roasted their marshmallows, Becky took a deep breath, gathering the courage to speak. "Everyone," she started, her voice trembling slightly. "There's something I need to share." Liam's stomach twisted with anticipation as the fire crackled, the shadows dancing along their faces. He could feel the eyes of their family upon them, waiting for her to continue. "I just want to say that I care deeply about family, but there's something more in my life right now. Something that has changed in me over the past few months." She stole a glance at Liam. Something that might come as a surprise. The ensuing silence felt deafening, and all eyes were glued to them, curiosity, confusion, concern reflected among the gathered family members. Liam took her hand, giving her the unspoken support to continue, and she forged ahead. "It's Liam. He and I have formed a bond over this summer, one that I never expected." Her breath hitched. "I'm not sure how to label it, but I want honesty in my life. And I can't be any more vague. I love him," she added, her voice rising above the quiet murmurs. "I love him, and I don't want to hide it anymore." A collective gasp echoed through the crowd, and the air became thick with anticipation. "Becky," her mother's voice was soft, yet incredulous. "He's your nephew." The fork dropped from her sister's hand, clattering to the plate, and echoed around them as if time had stopped. "I know," Becky replied, tears filling her eyes. "I know it's complicated. I know all of this doesn't fit neatly into what family is supposed to look like. But what we have is real. It's grown from something innocent into something truly meaningful, and she paused, swallowing hard against a wave of emotion. "I don't want to deny that anymore. I refuse to hide what has blossomed between us. We're not just family, we're two people who actually care for each other on a deeper level." Silence reigned as the words hung in the air, impossibly heavy. The fire crackled, sending up sparks that floated into the night sky, attempting to ease the palpable tension. Each family member exchanged glances, shock written across their faces. Liam felt a tumult of emotions rush through him, fear, relief, hope, but mostly, a fierce pride for Becky's courage. Despite the uncertain reactions looming around them, he squeezed her hand, steadying her with his support. "Becky, do you have any idea what you're saying?" Her mother finally broke the silence, her voice trembling with a mix of disbelief and protectiveness. This isn't just a simple crush. You're talking about a romantic relationship with your nephew?" "I understand how it sounds," Becky choked out, tears spilling down her cheeks. "But Liam and I have built a relationship that goes beyond familial ties. We've shared things, moments that have let us know each other in ways beyond the roles assigned to us by our family." Liam felt a swell of determination rising in his chest. "What Becky is saying is true. We've connected deeply, and I don't regret it. We both want this, and we've thought hard about what it means for our lives. We're not asking for your permission or approval, we just want to be honest." Another moment of silence followed, thick with varying emotions. Some family members looked uncomfortable as they processed the information, while others seemed to be grappling with their own feelings in the wake of the revelation. "But what about integrity? What about the family we've built?" one of Becky's uncles asked, his brow furrowed with concern. "What are we supposed to tell everyone else?" "We understand that this is difficult for you," Liam said, his tone steady but compassionate. "But love isn't defined by societal expectations. Becky and I didn't set out for this to happen, it simply evolved. We care for each other, and we want to figure this out as family members who matter deeply to each other." Becky nodded, her voice shaking but resolute. "We wanted to be transparent because that's what family is, you should know the truth. Even if it's messy and complicated." As the conversations mushroomed all around the fire pit, emotions poured out like the sparks ascending from the flames. Whispers of confusion, sentiments of support, and voicing of doubts cascaded over one another, creating a whirlwind of reactions. Then, finally, one of the younger cousins chimed in. "But, if it's love, shouldn't we want to support them? Isn't that what families are supposed to do?" Liam turned to see a fresh perspective emerge from the younger generation, and he felt a flicker of hope. "Exactly," he said, feeling emboldened. "Support is what we all need right now. We have the chance to guide this family into understanding what love." "I don't know how it will all work out, but I'll do my best to support you both," her mother added, her eyes glistening. "As long as you are happy together, I want to advocate for that, even if it feels challenging at times." The crackling flames of the fire continued to illuminate the faces of those gathered around until they all began to nod in agreement. Acceptance, though fraught with trepidation, had found its way into the heart of the family. As the sun slowly set beyond the horizon, the night wrapped them in a blanket of stars, those same stars that had witnessed Liam and Becky's secret journey. It felt like the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with vulnerability and the promise of understanding. They could finally embrace their truth openly, freeing themselves from the tight constraints of secrecy. With each passing moment, the darkness of the night felt less like a shroud and more like a canvas to paint their new reality. Conversations flowed more freely, stories shared revealed the foundations of trust they had built within their family and the love they had for one another. "Maybe we can have a family gathering dedicated to celebrating love of all kinds," Liam's sister suggested. "We could acknowledge that it comes in many shapes, and that it doesn't always fit neatly into the boxes we've made." Becky smiled through her tears. "I would love that. I think it's a perfect way to celebrate our bond while honoring the complexities without judgment." Liam felt a rush of warmth envelop him. "That sounds wonderful. We can use the mural we painted as a backdrop, a testament to all the love that exists and all the connections we've nurtured over the years." He could see the spark of excitement returning to his family members, a glimmer of understanding beginning to blossom like the flowers that had once adorned their fields. This wasn't just about him and Becky, it was an opportunity to show the true meaning of family, unconditional love, acceptance, and growth. As laughter bounced around the fire pit, mingling with the sounds of crickets chirping and the soft crackle of the flames, Liam felt more connected than ever, not only with Becky but with every family member who had been brave enough to open their hearts to new possibilities. Days rolled into weeks, and the summer began to yield to autumn's embrace. As the leaves turned colors of amber and rust, their family started to plan the gathering to celebrate love, each member finding small ways to contribute. They didn't shy away from the topic of Liam and Becky's relationship. Instead, they chose to embrace it, crafting conversations filled with warmth aimed at understanding. On the day of the gathering, the farm transformed into an inviting haven, tables draped with colorful cloths lined with vibrant flowers from the garden, laughter and music echoing through the open air. Family members gathered, celebrating the very essence of love in all its forms. As the sun began to set, they stood before the mural Liam and Becky had created, a masterpiece that told the story of their summer. It intertwined colors and shapes, symbols of old memories and dreams yet to come, each stroke reflecting their journey together. Today, we honor what it means to love deeply, to find joy in unexpected places, and to build relationships where none were thought possible, Becky's mother announced, her voice strong but emotional. This mural serves as a reminder that love is unyielding, transformative, and most importantly, liberating. Liam glanced at Becky, whose face shone with a mixture of pride and disbelief. They had come so far together, and now, in full view of their family, they could embrace who they were without apprehensions. One by one, family members began stepping forward, sharing their stories and experiences with love. They sang songs, danced together, and even painted small canvases collectively, thrusting brushes into their hands as they placed their love in color and creativity. As the night progressed, Liam and Becky found themselves enveloped in laughter and warmth, no longer burdened by fear or concern, but instead, celebrated for their authenticity. Together, they stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future held, emboldened by the love and acceptance flowing around them. Somewhere under the sprawling constellations, as the moon cast a soft silvery glow, Liam took Becky's hand once more. "I think we did it," he whispered, reverence lacing his words. "Yeah, I think we did," she replied, her heart swelling with joy. "They really understand us now. They see our love for what it is, a beautiful connection, both delicate and resilient." As they watched their family come together, sharing in the joy of love, laughter, and community, they knew this was only the beginning of their story. It was a chapter of new beginnings and uncharted territories, where love was celebrated in all its forms. Together, hand in hand, they stepped forward into the future, ready to explore even more, secure in the knowledge that they had each other, and a family that had learned to embrace their truth. With each brushstroke of life, they painted memories that would last far beyond the summer, crafting a legacy built on love, courage, and acceptance, intertwining their paths into a beautiful tapestry that would endure through the seasons. In the backdrop of the mural reflecting their journey, with stars glaring brightly overhead, this was a summer they would never forget, a summer that had changed everything. And as they watched the sun sink below the luminous horizon, casting the world in stunning shades of orange and crimson, they knew that no matter what came next, together, they could paint a future that was bright, full of possibility, and forever intertwined, just like the vibrant colors of their mural, bold, beautiful, and blended into a breathtaking array that told the story of their hearts. As the evening deepened, laughter filled the air, mingling with the warmth of family and community. Children played in the background, their gleeful shouts punctuating the dusk, a reminder of the innocence and joy love brings into the world. With each passing moment, a sense of belonging enveloped Liam and Becky, erasing any remaining doubts that had lingered in the shadows. Later, as they leaned against the porch railing, savoring the afterglow of the festivities, Liam turned to Becky. "Can you believe how far we've come?" he asked, his voice filled with wonder as he gazed into her eyes. "From that first awkward moment when we realized there was something more between us to this, a gathering where our love is celebrated. It's incredible." Becky nodded, emotion catching in her throat. "It truly is. I never imagined we would be here, openly sharing our love and building a bridge instead of a wall. It's beautiful to see how our family has reacted. I didn't know if they'd ever be able to accept this." "I think love has a way of revealing the truth," Liam said thoughtfully. "It opens hearts and minds in ways we often don't expect. It pushes us to grow, to evolve." With a shy smile, Becky pressed her cheek against his shoulder, feeling content and hopeful. "And your love has pushed me to be brave, to embrace who I truly am. I'll always be grateful for that." As they stood there, wrapped in a peaceful silence illuminated by the soft glow of lanterns, they felt an unshakable bond tethering them together. The worries of the outside world faded away, leaving only the promise of the future illuminating the path ahead. "I can't wait to see what's next for us," Liam said, his heart racing with excitement and intimacy all at once. "Whether it's creating more art, exploring new horizons together, or facing the uncertainties of life, I want to take every step with you." "Me too, Liam," she replied, her voice steady and sincere. "I want to learn and grow. I want to build a life that reflects the love we fought for." Suddenly, a brilliant shooting star spangled across the night sky, drawing their eyes up toward the starlit expanse. It felt like a cosmic affirmation of their journey, an omen that whatever challenges lay ahead would be nothing they could not face together. "Make a wish," Becky exclaimed, her spirits lifted, embodying the childlike wonder that had defined so much of their summer. "I wish for us," he said quietly, squeezing her hand tightly, the weight of the moment not lost on him. "For more summers like this, filled with love, acceptance, and boundless adventure." "And I wish for courage," Becky said softly, "for both of us. To continue to embrace our truth and to stay strong together, no matter what comes our way." As the star faded, both Liam and Becky captured that moment in their hearts, a pact unspoken to nurture what they had built. Thankful tears glistened in Becky's eyes, and Liam wiped them away, holding her face gently in his hands. "Together, we can paint anything," he whispered before they shared a tender kiss, sealing their promises and dreams until the first light of dawn would beckon them toward the new day. From that moment on, they embraced their journey, knowing their love was a powerful force that would guide them through whatever life had in store, a bond that was as enduring as the stars overhead, constant and unwavering amidst the chaotic beauty of the universe. And as the summer days dimmed into a beautiful autumn, they learned to transition alongside it, blossoming in each new season of their lives, hand in hand, hearts forever intertwined. So, under the vast tapestry of the night, they stepped forward into the future, not just as individuals but as a united force, a couple ready to carve out a space for their love in the world, painting their legacy one brushstroke at a time. With the warmth of family and the courage blooming in their hearts, they were ready to face whatever adversities life may usher in, embracing every moment as they built their life filled with love, authenticity, and an unwavering desire to celebrate all the complexities love encompasses. And that, they knew, would always be their greatest masterpiece. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Your support means a lot to us. See you in the next video.